Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have our next guest with us, Joseph Giampapa, our self-empowerment specialist and life coach. And he's here empowering so many and has been for such a long time. I mean, starting out with a career as a comedian and, all he's done to entertain troops over Europe. Also, we do have to mention all the books he has written. Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his large family and how he's been helping so many with the work he does. Let me have him introduce himself because you could probably say it better. Joseph, go for it.
Well, thank you very much, Jill. I appreciate it. My goodness, with such an introduction, I think I'll close my mouth and I'll be ahead of things already.
And that's the comedian in him. Love it. Love it. Oh, great segue. Joseph, tell us about who you are and what you do for those new timers out there who are tuning in today.
Well, basically, I'm a self-empowerment specialist. I help people kind of reprogram their subconscious and realize the fact that we come into this world with all this potential to be virtually anything we want to be. And it's kind of sad that the average person kind of gets stuck and they stay that way for 30, 40 years. And they feel they're too old or don't have enough education or this or that. So they don't start reaching out anymore like we did when we were kids. And it's my job to help kind of light a fire under them, if you will, and realize that we could do virtually anything we put our mind to.
Yep, I know it's possible. By the way, how do we contact you? What is your website?
It's whatiwillican.com.
Okay. And by the way, the work you're doing, did you want to discuss some of that? Do you want to discuss the books? Where did you want to go next?
Well, I had a private practice for 10 years. I help people reprogram their subconscious. I was going to finish my doctorate and I started doing a lot of research with,
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing. The Russians were so ahead of us during the Cold War. They did a
Okay.
lot of research on mental programming and they came across some really fascinating things. They found out, and for me, this is really key. When we're born, we come in with a matched set. Our subconscious is tied directly to the sound of our own particular voice. And what's interesting is there are no two voices on the
Oh,
face of
wow.
the earth exactly alike. So we can have 500 voices that sound just like us saying a command like pick up the book. And our mind will just kind of, not really pay attention to it until it hears our voice. And then bam, suddenly our subconscious becomes very
Mm-hmm.
alert. So this is important. So the bottom line is they found out that what we say with our mouth tends to go in our ear and program us. And a lot of people aren't aware of this. And consequently, especially in the Western world here, we find out that about 85 to 90% of people out there program themselves to fail every day without even realizing it,
Wow.
just by virtue of their talk. They say things like, well, I could have maybe done it when I was younger, but now I'm older, I can't do it. Okay. Okay, you can't do it. Boom. Suddenly we're programmed and we created a limit.
Mm-hmm.
So all the limits we have in our head are self imposed and they're basically from the way we talk. So we have to start watching what we say with our mouth, and that's key.
Love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. And by the way, can I also mention, you're a world-renowned celebrity, and it does not look old enough to say this, but you entertained the troops in Vietnam.
Well, not in Europe. In Europe,
Yeah,
it was
during the
during the
Vietnam era. I'm like,
yes during the
what?
Vietnam era.
See, and you age with grace. Beautiful. That must have been some experience for sure.
Oh, it was incredible because comedy is so helpful, so medicinal. When I would get interviewed on television talk shows or something, I find myself using the term comedic. And then it
Uh-huh.
dawned on me one day, comedic, if you separate that, it's co-medic. It's medical. Comedy is medicinal. And the old cliche, comedy is the best medicine, there's a lot of fact to that. Comedy is very, very important. When we laugh, we produce neuropeptides into our system. Neuropeptides are some of the most powerful healing chemicals the body can make. And so
Mm.
that's wonderful. I mean, there's study after study done at Harvard and all these places where they found when they go into a hospital, for example, and work with people, showing them funny movies, funny jokes, and getting them to laugh a lot and everything, they find out they need less medication. Their body actually kind of substitutes for the medication the healing effect with neuropeptides from laughter. And that's really neat.
Wow. Well, this is part of it. And we love to laugh. We love to thrive. And what makes you happy in life? You're helping others. What brings you joy? How is it helping people at this point with all your
Oh, by
self-empowerment?
No, by all means, it's helping people tap into their potential.
Yeah.
When you see that, it's there's such a joy because
Uh,
Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest motivators of our time, he said it is so sad that so many people go to their graves with their songs unsung. And you think, wow, how true that is. How many great inventions there could have been, how many great arias, how many stories could have been written. We'll never know because people chose not to tap into their potential.
yeah,
And
isn't
so
it?
it's my job to kind of help people to realize that they come in prepackaged.
Yep,
Basically, we have everything we need within us to become wherever we want to go or wherever we want to be.
beautiful. Well, what else did you want to share with our listeners today? We have plenty of time.
Well, the fact that I've written 3 books, that my books are,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I'm not one to toot my own horn, other than the fact that these
You
are
should.
they're helpful books. They're guidebooks. They're made to be used step by step to help a
Mm-hmm.
person get to where he or she wants to be. All we need sometimes is a little tap on the shoulder to
Yep.
remind us of how powerful we are. Nelson Mandela, basically when he got out of prison and everything, when he gave his inaugural speech, he said one of our greatest fears is not
Uh-huh.
that we're weak and can't do things, but that we
But
are more powerful than we'll ever know. And
love
that's so
that.
true. We have all this power in us, and if we don't use it, it's really kind of sad. I always talk about, like, in a great car race or something, you have a Ferrari revving up at the starting gate, and then the light turns green and every other car takes off, and the Ferrari's still there revving his engine. You think, what a waste! You got all that potential. Use it. Go do something. And
It's
that's how
so
we are.
true. It is
That's how we
so
are.
true. Oh my goodness. Well, clearly you're living, are you living your best life? What,
I
when, go ahead.
I am. I'm going to be 82 years old, and somebody says, "What would you do different?" And I say nothing because I believe in enjoying life and taking it day by day by day. The past is over, and there's nothing we could do about it. The future, there's no guarantee. All we have is the present. That's why they call it a present. It's a gift, and we need to cherish it and really utilize the day to be as good as we can make it, to enjoy it, to the key to life, I think, is to enjoy.
I agree. I really do. And not everybody lives that way, but you're helping inspire so many, and it's got to be a good feeling.
Well, thank you. It is. I come from a big Italian family. There are 11 in my family, and people say, "My goodness, how could you be in such a big family?" but
Uh-huh.
but it was wonderful because there was so much love and so
Yeah.
much help. The big ones helped the little ones. We helped each other.
Of
And if you
course.
didn't know something, you ask your big brother or ask your sister or somebody. And we were there to share and to cooperate. And to me, that's the key in life.
Hmm.
Life isn't a competition, it's a cooperation. And I think as soon as people realize that, they'll be much better off. Just psychologically, they'll feel better too. The commercials, in order to sell their product, they try to make us feel inferior. They want us to keep up with the Joneses. They want us to be like him or be like her.
Hmm.
And the truth is, we can't because we're individual beings. And that Oh, sorry, I got some
That's
background
okay.
there. But
It's
the
okay.
bottom line is we're not like everybody else. We are completely 100% unique. And that is so, so important. People don't realize that. We have to tune into that and remember that. okay, that we are completely one of a kind. It doesn't make us weird, it makes us absolutely special and unique.
I
And
love it.
a lot of people don't. I worked with at-risk kids for years, and it was so sad to see so many of them beaten down
Oh,
from their parents, from their friends, or whatever. And they're 11, 12 years old, and they say, "Oh, I'm worthless. I can't do anything. I'm a nobody."
mm,
And you think, "Oh, how sad," because their
mhm.
life's just beginning, and they have all this potential. But before anybody can believe in them, they have to believe in themselves. So it's my job to try to get each person to truly realize how powerful they are and all the beauty and wonderfulness they have inside of them. I
Mhm.
tell people there's no such thing as an insignificant human being. It
So true.
simply doesn't
Yep.
it simply doesn't exist. People say, "Oh, he's one of the homeless guys laying in the street. He's worthless or something." My goodness, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. We all come in with so much potentiality to be what we're supposed to be, and everything we're supposed to be is wonderful and unique and beautiful. And people need to realize that.
Oh. Well, remind us at this time how we can contact you and purchase your books.
Again, that's a website, whatiwillican.com. Whatiwillican.com. And the books are there. I have some package deals, some discounts and everything. I'm also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and everything. But if they go to this particular site, whatiwillican.com, they could get some discount packages, and it would help them, save a little money.
Tell us what type of discount packages.
Well, I have all three of my books bundled together, and they could get the whole thing for $35, which is kind of a sale now with the way prices are all over the place and everything. So they can get a bundle of all three books at once, and each one is a little bit different. They all deal with self empowerment, but it's a good package. I believe it's something that when I teach people in my workshops and seminars, they usually get the book and kind of go along with the seminar using the book as kind of a guidebook
I
and stuff.
love
And
it.
that's what these are. These are guidebooks. One
Yep.
of them is one of them basically is kind of a fill in the blank type
Mm-hmm.
thing where they can personalize their life as they go, following the book, using it as an assist or a guide.
Got it. Well, thank you for that. What else in particular today did you want to kind of go? Do you want to share some more stories? Read some excerpts? What did you have in mind?
Well, the key for me is, when I talk to people, sometimes people will say things like, "Oh, I'm too old," or
Yeah.
"I'm the wrong race." I don't have the right background. I come from the wrong side of the tracks. And none of that matters. I think if I get nothing else across to people, it's they have to realize
Yeah.
how filled with potential they are. And I often talk about walking when we were little kids because to me that blows my mind. When we were little kids, 12 months old, 15 months old, whatever, we looked around. We had, we were little kid, little baby, little head, little brain, everything else, looking around. We saw people walking. We thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'll try that. We got up, we tried to walk a little bit. We fell down, hit our chin, hurt ourselves, got up, skinned our knee. Did we quit? No, we kept trying until we
Nope.
start taking that first step and starting to walk. And I think that's absolutely fabulous. When I lecture to 500 people, 1,000 people in an audience, and afterwards, a lot of people come up to talk to me.
Um,
I've never had a single person crawl up to me. And I say, "What are you doing down there?" "Oh, I don't do that walking thing. I fell down once. I hurt myself. I don't like it." No, every one of us saw
yep.
the walking when we were little. We wanted to do it, so we did it. And that's the spirit we have to keep as an adult.
Oh,
Okay.
I
We have
love
that.
it.
Yeah, we have that fire inside of us, and we just need to aim at something and go for it. We'll never know if we can make it until we try. We have so much potential to be a great anything.
Anything, right?
Anything. Yes. For you, for example, you may be one of the greatest archers in the world, and you don't know unless you tried archery.
Yep.
So, that may be a hidden talent that you'll never know and never use. And you think, whoa, how sad. Why not give it a try? See, maybe that's your thing. You don't know. I mean, the world out there is magnificent. We could do and be virtually anything we want to be.
I
We
love
just need.
that. I believe in that. My goodness, it's so true. Not everybody has this outlook though, right? Come on,
Oh,
we
ab-
we got to
absolutely.
change this.
Absolutely. I'm from Chicago, and back in Chicago, horse racing was a big thing when I was a kid growing up. And there was a jockey named Eddie Arcaro.
Oh,
He he turned out to be the world's most prominent jockey, won more money than any other jockey, blah, 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 one
okay.
of the greatest jockeys ever lived, and all that. But what people don't know is that Eddie Arcaro lost his first 45 races in a row. Now think about that.
Wow.
What have you ever done 45 times and failed at and kept going? Probably not much.
Nothing. No. Mm-mm.
Exactly. But he knew he had something inside of him, so he kept going. He kept going. And I always say, imagine who would give him the horse the 46th time. Eddie, have
Right?
you ever won a race? Well, no, I haven't. But he knew inside that he had what it takes. And so the 46th time he got on the horse and won. And from then on, as they say, the rest is history. It's so important. You got to keep going because if you know inside you
Yeah.
can do it, you can do it. It takes belief. That's the key. Nothing's
Oh,
going to work until you believe it's going to work.
well,
Belief is everything.
what is, what experience of yours did you ever doubt yourself? What's like the biggest thing that you would say that you've accomplished, you've overcame, that you had trouble with, you know?
Well, it's funny. I think it's tenacity, and some people call it stubbornness. My father told my mom one time. He said, "I never saw a person more stubborn than me, except my son
Ah.
Joe." Yeah, he said, "If you ever want Joe to do something, tell him
Mm-hmm.
he can't." And to me, I love challenges.
Yeah.
I love challenges because, again, I think we can accomplish all things we put our mind to. So I welcome challenges, and a lot of people call them problems and kind of give up when they encounter a block. And I think no, I mean Hannibal, who crossed the Alps with elephants. I
Oh
mean
my
that
gosh.
that guy blows my mind.
Like,
Because
ah,
Alps. If I was married in Switzerland, my wife was Swiss, and the Alps are like our Rocky Mountains. I mean, they're just big rocky hulks of things, and to use elephants to cross that, it's
uh-huh.
virtually impossible. But Hannibal did it. And the Romans down, they had all three sides of Rome protected, but they left the side with the Alps open because they said nobody would be stupid enough to ever try to go over the Alps. And Hannibal did it not only with his soldiers, but with elephants. I mean, and he was only 22 years old at the time.
That's
Was a gen
crazy. That is
Yes,
insane.
he was a general, 22 years old. But he
Wow.
had a famous saying that I really love.
What was that?
He said we will either find a way or make a way. But he
Mm.
was determined to go, determined to
That
do something.
tenacity. Yes, that
Yes,
tenacity that some of us lack that we need to work on.
exactly. I mean, to say that, we'll either find a way or make a way. He didn't say we'll either find a way or give up. He said we'll either find a way or make a way. And that's the way it should be with anything we want to do. And usually by the time we're an adult, we pretty much have a good inkling from within of where our strengths lie, whether we're artistic or whether we work well with numbers or whether we're good with people or whatever. We get all these little prompts, and they're there for a purpose. They're there to encourage us to say, hey, we're ready and willing to support you. You got all the stuff you need right here inside. Let's go for it. We need to start listening to that. So many people are afraid to listen to themselves. I know a lot of people that are afraid to be with themselves. I know people that would they come home from work, they grab the mail, they open up the door. First thing they do is turn on the TV. They're starting to look through the mail. They turn on the TV. They're playing with their phone. They cannot just be with themselves. They're afraid of that for some reason. And that's when you get the most benefit from life. Just sit with yourself and let the ideas come.
Yeah. Love it. Sounds so simple. If we all could just listen and live our best life. What are some of the things we should be doing each and every morning? What do you do when you wake up?
Well, I have my rituals. I do some meditation, a
Okay.
lot of meditation. I have my affirmations that I use and things like that. Again, I try to pre-program myself for the day.
Mhm.
Again, having learned what I say with my mouth goes in my ear, I watch very carefully what I say. And so I tell myself I'm going to have a good day. Things are going to be good. I'm I'm going to be free from negative thinking, things like that. But when I had a private practice, I help people work with affirmations, and you have to be really careful with affirmations because if you put in the wrong wording, you're going to program yourself to the negative without realizing it.
Yeah.
For example, our subconscious, which is a phenomenal apparatus, people don't realize our subconscious can't think. It has no rationalization. It can't think. It doesn't know right from wrong. It can't. It doesn't know truth from a lie,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
none of that. Whatever goes into it, it's its job to just program it and help us to become it. That's what the subconscious does. It's like putting in a program into the computer. The computer will
Yeah.
do whatever the program tells it to do.
Oh gosh,
That's how it
AI.
is with
Ah.
us. That's how it is with us. We are programming ourselves constantly without even realizing it. And so I try to make sure in the morning that I program myself in a positive mode, in a positive mode. And I try to be very much aware during the course of the day not to say anything negative about myself or anybody else for that matter. I try to stay pretty much in the positive frame. It's interesting when the creator made us, he made the subconscious so that it doesn't accept a negative word. You
Yeah.
know, if you're trying to quit smoking, if you say, I will not smoke anymore, the
Mhm.
subconscious takes in, I will smoke. I will smoke because the not gets canceled out. It cancels out negative words, which is really interesting. So, in an affirmation, which obviously affirm means positive, you cannot put any negative things in there. You can't say, I will not be fat anymore. I will not be heavy anymore. Right? No, the not is eradicated. It doesn't acknowledge the negative. So you have to form your affirmations in a positive, here and now form. Like not I will be, because if you say I will be such and such, it puts it off in the future. You have to say I am now. So it helps to create it for now. Like I am a happy, joyful person, not I will be. Because
Yep.
will be always puts it off to tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day.
Oh
So,
goodness. I love that. I love hearing it. Well, in our last few minutes together, how did you kind of want to end off for our listeners?
well, I would like to say that every day is a beautiful new opportunity. It has nothing
Yep.
to do with age or where you've been or anything else or your schooling. I think decide to do something and then go do it. And the bottom line is, I was a teacher for years, an educator with high school, college, middle school, and so on. And when I would talk to kids as they start to enter college or something, I say, "What do you want to be? What's your program? What are you going to follow?" And they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to do such and such." And I'll say, "Why are you doing that?" "Oh, that's where the money is." And I think, how sad. I say, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
Well, if money wasn't a problem, I'd like to really, do greeting cards or something. I said, why don't you do that then? The key is to follow your heart.
Mhm.
Follow your heart. If I tell people to do anything, just follow your heart. If it gives you joy and pleasure, it's going to be worthwhile for you. That's what life's all about, to enjoy life. I used to teach with teachers who, during the break, they'd come into the faculty room. I had one guy would come into the faculty room. He'd be about 50 years old. His face would be red as a beet. He'd have all the veins coming out of his neck saying, "Oh, I hate this job. I hate these kids." And I'd say, "Why don't you quit? Why don't you retire?"
Uh-huh.
"Well, 7 more years and I will." And I think, wow, this guy's not even going to make it 1 more year. He's probably going to, God forbid, drop dead because, you know, you can't keep putting things off. You got to do it today. Change today. If you don't like what you're doing, change it.
So
We are in
true.
charge of ourselves. Life is a choice. Every single thing in life we do is a choice. I
Mhm.
tell people you are exactly where you are now because of the choices you made yesterday and the days before.
Yep.
If you don't like what you're doing, do something about it. I used to tell people when they come to my office, it seemed like kind of a joke, but there was a lot more truth to it than fiction, because they come in, they say, "Oh, I hate my life." I said, "Go stand in the corner and argue with yourself then, because you put yourself there."
Wow.
We are exactly where we chose to be. We're here because of choices.
God bless.
This is why
Absolutely.
we're here. Yeah.
Ah,
So
well,
I
thank
think
you.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Remind us how we can reach out to you, please.
Again, whatiwill.com. Again, my books are also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But if they go to whatiwill.com, they'll get some history about me, and they'll find some discounts. And it'll be, as far as I'm concerned, a much better deal. Such
Oh,
a deal. Such a deal.
love it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Always a pleasure having you here and looking
Oh, the
forward to the
pleasure's
next time
mine.
we connect. Ditto. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. Pick up the copies of some of his books. My goodness. And one more time, the website.
Whatiwill.com.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. Bye bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.